Now on 7 News.
Parents left concerned following a troubling message found at a local school. We are live.
Breaking overnight, a pricey set of wheels left badly burned after a crash in North Miami Beach.
A country superstar returning to tour after the Vegas massacre.
Plus, the president signing an executive order on health care. We have the details on the president's agenda. Good Friday morning, South Florida. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex DiArmas.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Cruz. Today in Florida at 6 starts now.
This is 7 News, Today in Florida.
Let's get started with a quick check on today's weather.
Meteorologist Vivian Gonzalez is in the Plex with your first forecast. Hi, Viv.
Hi there, ladies in South Florida. Make sure that you give yourselves extra time as you're heading outside the door this morning because it will be pretty busy. We're going to look forward to seeing some scattered to numerous showers and storms by daybreak. And as far as the weekend is concerned, I know a lot of you are wondering whether it's going to be a washout or not. And we do have a high rain chance. Right now, it's 78 in Fort Lauderdale, 76 in West Kendall. Radar showing that we do have quite a bit of moisture and isolated storms right now in Broward County. Heavy rain into Parkland, Deerfield Beach, and Coral Springs, moving into West Palm Beach, where we have some thunderstorm activity. That's around Davie, Cooper City, moving south into Pembroke Pines along 441, the Florida Turnpike, all the way east into Dania Beach and Hollywood. Hollandale Beach now starting to get drenched, but around central Miami-Dade, much drier. Tamiami Trail, that's where we have some spotty activity. Same for Florida City and the Redlands. As far as the Keys are concerned, well, we are looking at some shower activity south of Big Pine Key and around the 7 Mile Bridge. So the moisture map is definitely indicating that we are loaded with deep tropical moisture due to a spin and a tropical wave that's slowly pushing towards the west. So with the activity that gets going, we'll see heavy downpours and isolated storms. The isolated storms that form will be capable of producing dangerous lightning, gusty winds anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour. I'll be back with your complete weekend outlook in 15 minutes.
Time now for Fast Track Traffic.
Hey, good morning. It's Friday, and unfortunately, we've got a nasty crash that has actually closed part of the roadway here, 167th Street. It's westbound that's shut down between Northeast 5th Avenue and Miami Avenue. The crash actually occurring and bursting into flames at 3rd Court. So please try and avoid this for the next several hours. Crews are still, again, investigating this one. And, of course, there's a lot of cleanup. As you're making your way on the major roadways, not a whole lot to worry about in the sense of crashes. We've got nothing slowing us down, but naturally you'll want to save time. This way you're not rushing around. Here's the Palmetto Expressway, and the headlights moving south. That drive anywhere past the Big Curve and 122nd Street toward the Dolphin Expressway is right around 20 minutes. We don't have any problems as you make your way north. The drive right now is a decent commute on I-95. So currently that commute is about 10 minutes between the Golden Glades Interchange and the Dolphin Expressway. The express lanes are doing well. No problems. I-95 north heading into the Broward area. Speaking of Broward, I-95 is doing exceptionally well as you're making your way past Cypress Creek Road. Cars moving away from us heading north. 17 minutes from 595 to Hillsborough Boulevard in Deerfield Beach. That's 7 traffic. I'm Lauren Lane. More traffic in less than 15 minutes.
Let's get right to that story that broke overnight. A driver losing control, causing a fiery crash.
7's Diana Diaz is live in the Plex with the details now. Diana?
The driver of the Lamborghini burned here in this impact. It split the car in half at Northeast 167th Street and 3rd Court. The flames caught on video. The witness there says that the flames were on the sleeve of the shirt and leg of the pants of the driver when he got out of the car.
And it was like a boom. And when I turned I look at my side and I saw the car on fire and in 2 pieces. And I saw the guy take it out from the car with fire and all this arm and the legs, and he thrown on the floor and he was screaming and the people called the police and the gas station come and was very, very, very scared.
And we're getting an update on that man's condition as well. 7's Andrew Scheinthal is at the scene. We'll have more reports later this morning. Live in the Plex, I'm Diana Diaz, Today in Florida.
And now to a story you'll see on just one station, a student leaving a dire warning on a bathroom wall of their South Florida school. Now, this message saying the school will be, quote, shot up today.
School officials say they found the student and determined it to be an unfounded threat. Still, the warning is a cause for concern for countless parents out there. 7's Katrina Bush is live at the school in Homestead with the latest now. Good morning, Katrina.
Good morning. Well, yes, you are about to hear from those parents we talked to say despite the findings from the school administrators and from police that this threat was not credible, their kids will not be in class today.
Gateway going to get shut up on October 13, 2017. It's going to be a tragedy.
That is the message scribbled on a bathroom wall earlier this month at Gateway Environmental K-8 Center. A mother of 5 students there says her 13-year-old snapped the picture. She describes her reaction to it with 2 words.
Pure fear. Pure fear.
She tells us her son showed her the message the day before it was removed from the wall more than a week ago.
I called the following day and I asked about the incident. I was given the runaround, put on hold a few times. I waited about 6 days, called again the runaround.
When she called back a 3rd time Wednesday afternoon, she says a school employee told her,
"My kids come to the school and they're not coming to school that day."
But Miami-Dade County Public Schools says a call went out about the message to more than 1,000 parents on the morning of October 4th, explaining police were called to investigate. They identified and visited the student responsible. They determined the threatening message to be non-credible, and the student was disciplined. The school system added that security would be increased on Friday out of an abundance of caution.
I haven't received such message, and neither has my husband.
This family says they're keeping their kids home Friday.
Gateway gonna get shut up on October 13th, 2017.
So is Alma Aguiar, who got the message on her phone but wanted more details about what the threat actually said.
Now, I wish the school had been that specific in their message so that we as parents would make a choice.
So aside from that beefed up security, today is set to be a normally scheduled school day. Reporting live in Homestead, Katrina Bush, Today in Florida.
After many failed attempts at health care reform, President Trump taking executive action, the order drawing both praise and criticism from lawmakers.
And that's not the only thing the president tackled on Thursday. 7's Omar Lewis is live in the Plex with the latest on all of these D.C. developments. Omar?
Good morning. Happening overnight, President Trump taking yet another step to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. The White House confirming late last night it would stop payments to insurance companies under Obamacare. Now, those subsidies help millions of low-income Americans afford coverage. This morning, the move already drawing threats of lawsuits.
We are going to also pressure Congress very strongly to finish the repeal and the replace of Obamacare once and for all.
In a late-night move, the commander-in-chief throwing a bomb into the insurance marketplace, choosing to immediately end payments to health insurers that help millions of lower-income Americans afford their deductibles and other out-of-pocket expenses under the Affordable Care Act. It's a 1-2 punch to Obamacare after an executive order on Thursday allowing alternative health plans that skirt the law's requirements.
They're going to be very happy. This will be great health care.
Unable to go through Congress, President Trump taking matters into his own hands when it comes to health care, saying the executive order will bring down premiums and make health care more affordable.
Insurance companies will be fighting to get every single person signed up. And you will be hopefully negotiating, and you'll get such low prices for such great care.
The move is expected to allow health insurance to be sold across state lines, and those policies would be free of many Obamacare coverage requirements, meaning many plans could be scaled down and cheaper, but offer less in return. Republican Senator Rand Paul giving his support.
The plan that we put in place today is going to allow inexpensive insurance, and it's going to allow great purchasing power, and it's going to have the same protections that people want.
The House Minority Leader condemning the order.
It is a sabotage of the Affordable Care Act, and quite frankly, a real disservice to the American people, many of whom voted for him.
It's not the only issue the president is drawing criticism on, turning his attention to hurricane-ravaged Puerto Rico in the morning. With the majority of the U.S. territory still without power and cleanup underway, he tweeted, "We cannot keep FEMA, the military, and the first responders who have been amazing under the most difficult circumstances in PR forever." The mayor of San Juan already at odds. firing back. It is not that you do not get it. You are incapable of fulfilling the moral imperative to help the people of Puerto Rico. Shame on you.
And the president is expected to decertify the Iran nuclear deal and announce a new strategy on Iran later today. This morning, though, we're in the Plex. Omar Lewis, today in Florida.
All right, Omar, thank you. And House lawmakers passing a multi-billion-dollar disaster relief bill with money set aside for Puerto Rico. Now, in spite of one of the president's tweets, his chief of staff reiterated the federal government's commitment to the recovery on the island. General John Kelly right here also taking aim at a persistent rumor regarding his future.
I'm not quitting today. I don't believe, and I just talked to the president, I don't think I'm being fired today.
And so Kelly also suggested reporters covering the White House often get the story wrong and that they should develop, quote, better sources.
Among Kelly's priorities, an apparent change in direction when it comes to the Iran arms deal. The president, who has sharply criticized it, is scheduled to talk about the accord at 12:45, and you'll be able to see that right here on 7.
And now, a high-pitched sound, putting American workers on high alert in Havana.
It is going into your system. It's like a, acoustic hammer which is hitting you.
We're hearing the audio attack that put diplomats in danger.
Well, those acoustic attacks left U.S. officials with very serious injuries.
And it launched an investigation into Cuba and whether their government knew about the attack. 7's Joe Rotes reports.
A sickening sound heard in Havana. This is what the Associated Press says U.S. Embassy workers in Cuba were exposed to, attacked by what investigators initially believed was a sonic weapon.
The recording gives us the first tangible sense of what it was like for these American government workers in Havana who were hearing these unexplained sounds in their residences and later developed physical symptoms.
Those symptoms include extreme headaches, speech difficulties, and hearing loss. The high-pitched noise, just one of several recorded and still being analyzed since the attack started last year. The sound affecting both Canadian and American diplomats.
You won't be hearing it, but of course it is going into your system. It's like a, acoustic hammer which is hitting you. You're just not able to hear it because its frequency is much higher.
The audio making waves in Miami's Little Havana, where some are hearing it for the first time.
I think the Cuban government's responsible for it, and they should be protecting our diplomats who are in Cuba.
As to whether Cuba is responsible,
anything is possible today. The world is really not the world I was brought up in.
But the Cuban government denies any involvement. Officials have yet to identify exactly who could be targeting the nearly 24 affected Americans. Chief of Staff John Kelly with this to say on Thursday.
We believe that the Cuban government could stop the attacks on our diplomats.
Being careful not to accuse Cuba of any direct involvement, the State Department elaborating on those comments.
The government of Cuba has a responsibility to ensure the safety of our diplomatic staff. That didn't happen. But there's also another well-known fact, and that is that in a small country like Cuba, where the government is going to know a lot of things that take place within its borders.
2 weeks ago, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson ordered about 60% of U.S. staff out of the American embassy in Cuba and then kicked out 15 Cuban diplomats from the embassy in Washington, D.C. Reporting in Little Havana, Joe Rotes, Today in Florida.
And now on 7, singer Jason Aldean continuing his tour a week after the Las Vegas massacre. The country singer kept his promise to fans when he resumed his They Don't Know tour in Oklahoma yesterday. Now, he took time out of his concert to reflect on what he called a tough week.
As you guys know, man, it's been a tough week and a half for all of us up here on stage, and I want to say thank you guys for being here tonight. You guys are going to help us get through this as much as we're going to help you guys.
Aldean went back to the stage 11 days after performing here at the Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas, where a gunman opened fire from a hotel room, injuring hundreds in the crowd, killing 58. He canceled his shows the past week out of respect for those victims.
And coming up next from the 7 Newsplex, after Irma, a piece of paradise will soon be returned home. The details straight ahead.
Plus, find out what childhood snack has people across the country seeing green. We'll explain in our morning trend.
And Alex, South Florida, well, we have tropical moisture in place, and it will be slowly moving into the Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, we're going to be looking at periods of heavy rain, isolated storms capable of producing dangerous lightning, gusty winds. Your complete outlook is coming up next.